All right, this was a case that was presented before my case in Judge Owsley's courtroom, and it appears that they, well, my lawyer pointed it out right away that it appears that it was conducted by Zoom. So Brian McMillian was accused of stealing from Walmart twice, 4 days apart, and he had two separate trials for those two separate incidents on the same day in 2021, January 26, 2021. So this is a couple of years before me, just a year before me. And he sat in jail and went on to a Zoom. I'm going to assume that he was on Zoom, and everybody was also on Zoom. The judge, the prosecutor, the witnesses. Where were the witnesses? So they go through the internet and with this trial, and I wonder if there was some kind of preparation before they actually went on record. Did they do some kind of a test before? They seem to have really bumbled their way through this. All right, so you see the first statement, it's not about calling the court into order by the judge. All right, maybe Shanita was a little confused about when the transcript officially started, because it just kind of launches into the prosecutor introducing, this is Brian McMillian, and talking for Brian McMillian, but there's no acknowledgement from Brian McMillian. The court did not ask if Brian McMillian was ready. All right, so you almost get the impression that he may not be able to hear. They didn't go through any status checks on the record, and so it just kind of looks on record like they're just kind of saying, this is Brian McMillian, and you get the impression that he's there in the courtroom, and he's not. He's supposed to be on Zoom at the jail. The jail has some kind of a Zoom room. I never saw it. And they just go through the questioning. There's no opening statements. Okay, I had opening statements. They just launch into direct examination between Prosecutor Benjamin and Jessica Hill. All right, and they bumble through it because Judge Owsley had to stop the questioning, remembering that they have to swear in the witness. So they redo the questioning, and this is laying the foundation. So they just started, Prosecutor Benjamin just started laying the foundation, asking her to state her name, where she works, what she does. And then Judge Owsley's like, wait a second, we gotta swear her in. So then they swear in, and then redo laying the foundation and continue on from there. No objections. let's see. Yeah, they identify Brian wearing a mask, an orange shirt, top right corner. So there's several boxes. You know how a Zoom layout is put together, and he was described to be in the top right box, wearing a mask. They didn't even ask him to take off his mask because his identifiable features, if they were even that identifiable, were are so outside of the mask, they could identify him amongst other people even while wearing a mask. And I'm guessing he was in jail for the whole time since this incident. April. Did you come in contact on April 10th, 2020? And his trial was held on January 2021. And he's still in jail. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. He's been in jail for longer than 6 months, which was what he was sentenced to. Did he stay in jail the whole time? Did he go to the jail to do a remote Zoom trial? There's a lot of questions on how they conducted themselves, how these two trials on the same day were held, for them to arrive at sentencing, for Judge Owsley to arrive at sentencing him to 6 months in jail. It's very questionable. So do you see Brian McMillian? He's in the top right corner. That's it. That's how a real trial goes. You know, when the witness points, let me just see. When the witness points, yeah, he's over there. They point in a Zoom trial, they point to the top right corner. He's in the top right corner. Is that, I mean, a trial can be held in any capacity. It could be held in a cornfield. A trial can be held on a boat. A trial can be held across great distances, possibly over telephone. They sometimes prosecutor will just call into the court. So they can hold trials in many different ways. And over Zoom is another one, is a new one to me. I'm not saying it can't be done. I mean, they clearly did it, but they bumbled their way through this by making it really look spotty in information. And as my lawyer pointed out, let me just backtrack and just talk about some key points that he's mentioned. He said no mention of right to counsel, which that should be on record and brought up right before the trial. And they didn't do that. They didn't talk about any right to counsel. They didn't even acknowledge. They didn't even give him a chance to say, "My name is Brian McMillian and I'm here representing myself." They just kind of went right into it. And I mean, what did he know? How did he know how to assert his rights? He has no clue. Let's see. Oh yeah, and my lawyer also said that he sounds kind of stupid, so there might be a mental illness, and I can show some of the things he said. Brian didn't say much. In one of the transcripts, yeah, just implying that it was through Zoom. I'm assuming Zoom. I mean, top right corner. I don't know of any other software program that was used more than Zoom for courts and for any over long distance communications, online communications. So going back, oh, I just showed the right. I'll have to look at this later. All right. Let's see. I'm 10 minutes in. Okay. I want to hurry this up. So Walmart called the cops on Brian for stealing. They said he put the items in his pockets, and they personally witnessed this. So the cops used that as evidence, and Brian pled not guilty. They went to trial. There seemed to have been a long time between April and January to prepare. Who knows if Brian got any evidence from the prosecutor? Who knows if they did it? I mean, would he really know his about asking for discovery? I doubt it. All right. Customer approached the Walmart employee saying that Brian was sticking things into a wind jacket in the store. This is the first one. How many times? Okay, they just kind of go into how he was stealing, and apparently even before this, he was banned from the store. So he's got some kind of a criminal problem with stealing. Okay, Brian McMillian. Okay, yeah, I do. All right, so Brian McMillian. Okay, the courts. Judge Owsley says I have no further questions. Like he's a lawyer. He's talking like a lawyer when he says that. I have no further questions. So the prosecutor, Benjamin, he rests his questioning, and then Judge Owsley asks McMillian if he has, did you hear the testimony of the witness? Do you have any questions of the witness? Okay. He just asks if he has any questions. And then Brian McMillian seems rather incoherent about the situation. He wants to make a statement and call them liars. And then I want to ask her why she lied on me. But that's a lie right there. So I can get them to come to court myself if I want to. All right, he wants to testify in court. I want to come to court and testify. And then Judge Owsley says, well, unfortunately, because of COVID, you're going to be testifying from where you are right now. And then Brian McMillian just stopped talking, and he didn't say a word after that. So Judge Owsley just made decisions and orders and conclusions based on 2 episodes of silence, because McMillian asked to come to court and testify, not do it through Zoom. And he stood on those grounds and stayed silent for this first trial. So then Judge Owsley sentences him. Let's see. Total amount $59, and McMillian gets 6 months, 6 months with any credits of any time served. And if he stayed in jail, if McMillian stayed in jail this whole time, he would have been in jail longer than 6 months. And that's it. McMillian, and that's the first trial. Then we got the second trial. McMillian had, he said if he sat in jail the whole time, he had no way to prepare for his trial. Here's trial number 2 with one other witness. So the first witness was Jessica Hill, the second witness. And look how they restart this. Actually, let me just show how this ends. The first trial ends abruptly. It's just kind of, Judge Owsley asked, do you have anything else, Mr. Benjamin? Court adjourned? You're like, what's Prosecutor Benjamin's answer? There is none. It apparently spills over into trial number 2. And then we got a new number, 169557, and then the first one is 169556. So just 56 to 57. It almost seems like Judge Owsley just kind of, or Shanita just kind of takes the do you have anything else, Mr. Benjamin? Cuts that off, starts the new trial with Mr. Benjamin saying, do you have anything? Okay, so Judge Owsley's like, do you have anything else, Mr. Benjamin? And then we go on to the second trial, and Prosecutor Benjamin says, Your Honor, we would like to call the next matter. So I think Shanita just cut off the first trial, and then now that we're in the second trial, they start up again. And this is a new witness, and I'm guessing that these witnesses were not sequestered. They didn't call in these witnesses. I think they were both sitting in the courtroom at the time. So without a lawyer would know to sequester witnesses, and that clearly didn't happen for McMillian because he's already just lost his first trial and got 6 months. Let's see. They launch into questioning of Adrian Phebo, and is another employee at Walmart Asset Protection. This is 4 days later. He catches McMillian stealing, and they establish McMillian, right hand, okay. And of course, McMillian's still in the right-hand corner. And I'm sure that Phebo was watching the first witness, and he knew how to describe McMillian after watching how the first one said, and they just kind of go, right-hand corner. Is a gentleman on the, and he just finishes right-hand corner because he knew how to answer. He's already getting coached because he wasn't sequestered. But these are 2 separate trials. It's like, do you need to sequester the witnesses for 2 separate trials? Probably best to do that, especially as a defendant. They didn't bring any policemen in. It was just 2 Walmart employees. Record reflect, they identify the jurisdiction, okay, and then jurisdiction, the person, they laid the foundation. They didn't even talk about swearing this witness in this time. Judge Owsley had, after having been first duly sworn to testify, okay, so they knew to swear in Adrian, okay, and then, let's see, what was your contact? Okay, then they go into, he's found in the grocery section, and he had things in his pockets. And one thing that gets me is during this COVID, they establish Prosecutor Benjamin asks if there's hand carts in the store, and that's with Stacy. And during COVID, all of the Walmarts that I visited did not have hand carts. They retracted all their hand carts at every Walmart that I visited. They only allowed shopping carts, which they were spraying and wiping and all kinds of stuff, and then putting them in reserve spots for ready for shopping, and then dirty spots for not cleaned yet. They took out the shopping cart, the hand shopping carts, so that wasn't an option. And in the first one, they say that he had the opportunity to put the items in a cart, which is not true. He put his stuff in his jacket, and no logical reason because you all question, okay, Benjamin says you all provide shopping baskets if people need to carry things, correct? Correct, yes, sir. He said baskets, like it's a hand basket, all right, not a shopping cart. So, no, they didn't provide hand baskets. So, the Walmart employee is lying with just that. I mean, on top of the actual stealing, because we really don't know if they're telling the truth or not fully. I mean, Walmart has video. Why wasn't? I mean, this video would have been more in the interest of McMillian, the defendant, to look back at. Prosecutor Benjamin didn't use video, and it probably would have hurt his case. I'm thinking. I mean, that's why he didn't use the video of me walking around in the library, because it would hurt his case against me. Just like he didn't want to use video in the Walmart because it hurt his case. Video, when video works against the prosecutor, they withhold, deny it exists. I mean, they've likely seen it. If it works in their favor, they would use it. And they have other means to not even bring it into your trial. That's why you got to go out of your way to really push for this evidence that they're not going to use. So he relies on the Walmart employees' observations, their hallucinations, not on actual solid evidence. And McMillian just is clueless. So there's no reservation in your mind. He really establishes the conviction from the witness. And this is a very short trial. Benjamin's done. Total amount of the theft, $106, they say. Okay, Owsley says you can question the witness question the witness, and then they call McMillian. You are able to question the witness if you so choose. And McMillian's like, no response. But they say McMillian is the witness. And then he's the witness. And that's weird. I mean, that's Shanita calling McMillian the witness. It looks like a mistake to me. It really causes confusion. And this is a trial that has him in jail for 6 months. Credit time served. But Owsley's being very generous with making all these two trials run concurrently with each other at least. And then, yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to tell the what are they called again? There's Williams, those cops in the courtroom tell them to arrest him, throw him in jail, take him, transport him to jail. But yeah, that's 2 trials, and it's really crazy how much they bumble through the 2 trials, and it's concerning. Um, and it really it opens up my eyes to how my trial went, and how there was just just the way they conducted themselves. It's eye opening, and it's not just me that they're treating like uh, uh, I'm um, less than human, and not allowing me my civil rights. This just they just do what they want to do. It's like they say about me, Travis Hines is just gonna do what Travis Hines does. Well, this court is gonna do what this court does, unless somebody puts a stop to it, which I kind of did by going above their heads to appeals courts, and then making it very clear that I was denied a lawyer unconstitutionally. So they and that happens so much with people. They manifest certain attributes of themselves onto other people. Travis Hines is going to do what Travis Hines is going to do. Well, this court and Prosecutor Benjamin, Judge Owsley, they're going to do what they're going to do, regardless of what the superior um, court, which is the supreme rule of the law, has to say over their heads. They're just kind of they're trying to fly under the radar, and 6 months is a long time to on an unconstitutional trial over Zoom, 2 trials in one day. It's really nuts.